Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and start in child's pose. So coming onto our knees, taking them wide, maybe to the edges of the mat, allowing the hips to sink back towards the heels. Rocking back and forth. Maybe finding a couple like wiggles, getting them out, walking the hands forward. And following your breath. Travels in through the nose. And finding space in your belly to expand. And exhale. Hands connected to the earth, reminding yourself you are grounded, you are supported. And coming to being here. And now. Take a few more breaths. And then slowly raise your chest, raise your head up. Walk the hands back towards your body, towards your knees. Finding ourselves in hero's pose. Maybe it feels good to have a block underneath, wiggling the heels out on either side of the hips. Hands clasping behind you, interlace the fingers, drive the knuckles towards the earth. Chest reaching up. Finding the steadiness of keeping this uplift through your inhales and your exhales. For another 3. For 2. On 1, release the clasp. Give yourself a big hug. Shimmy side to side. Then hands come to the earth. Tuck your toes. Toes pose. Hips sink back. Onto the heels, maybe even walking the pinky out. And then same thing, except interlacing that awkward thumb on top. I always have to do the one that's comfortable and then switch. And then drive again the knuckles towards the ground. Finding this uplift. For another 3. For 2. And 1. Release, opposite elbow on top this time. Give a nice little shimmy, 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 shimmy. Untuck the toes. And then drive our crown towards the ground. So we have our crown chakra, and this is to help align us to this higher state. So work on, they call it like turtle pose, I've called it before. So you have your head, and then you lean forward. The hips come up a little bit until the head can come to the earth. If you can't get it to reach, you can always place a block there. But really think about this curling sensation in the back, a big rounding of how close to your knees can the head plant down. And then pressing into your shins, hips driving up towards the sky. And just feeling the sensation of the top of your crown, grounded onto the earth. This inversion. For another 5. For 4. Last 3. 2. And 1. Coming up. slowly roll your chin back up, allowing the blood to flush into your face, finding a sense of warmth, maybe placing one hand on the heart, one on the belly, and then again breathing. And if this is uncomfortable for you, you can always take a different comfortable seated position, like a cross-legged. But otherwise, 3-part yogic breath. We breathe in 1/3, feel the belly. Another 1/3, feel the chest, the ribs, and then the chest. And then exhale it all out through the nose. Inhale 1/3 belly, traveling up another 1/3 through the ribs. Last 1/3 in the chest. And exhale slowly it all out. 3 more on your own. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and out. Your breath. And after you finish that last breath, we'll walk in our hands forward into tabletop pose. Spread the fingers wide. Index finger pointing towards the top of the mat. Setting ourselves up for 3 sets of cat and cow. Beginning with cow, we drop the belly. Lift the collarbones, lift the tail. Inhale. Exhale, round it all. Chin towards the chest. Inhale, opening. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, allow it to open. And exhale, closing it off. And back to neutral. Very nice. Take the right foot and step it back behind us. Ball of the foot anchors onto the earth. Begin rocking forward and back. Finding a little extension, really allowing the left big toe to be your driver. So maybe even take a peek back and see if you have a tendency to roll onto the pinky edge of the foot. See if you can really use that right toe to drive yourself forward and back. You can stay here. Maybe walk your left arm forward, finding a point of stillness. Really engage that right glute and lift the right leg up towards parallel with your hip, your left hip. Maybe the left arm continues to walk forward. Maybe you can lift it up, thumb up towards the sky. Again, right glute engage. That's the driver lifting your leg. Stay here for 3. Belly drawing into the spine, 2. Last one, draw it on an elbow to knee. Inhale, open it out. Exhale, draw it in. That's 2. We'll do 5. Extension, drawing in. 2 more. Out. In. And out. In. And then out. And option 2, bend at the knee. Left arm reaches back, maybe clasping the big toe edge of the foot and finding an opening for 3. For 2. Last one. Allow it all to come back down. Feel free to walk the hands back towards the knees, allowing the hips to sit down. And taking our hands, interlacing them together, and doing a little warming release and warming up. And then switching directions. And then switching to the left side. So back to our tabletop, strong tabletop. And also I forgot to mention that if you want to alleviate some pressure from the wrist, you can also use 2 blocks underneath, or at any time, take the pose from your forearms. So in tabletop, extend the left foot back. Draw the belly up towards the spine, and then rock forward and back. Again, maybe taking a little peek back at your foot. What is it doing? Can you allow the left big toe to be your driver here? Play with the motion. Does it feel good? No rush. Just bringing awareness to the body. And then finding some stillness, perhaps walking the right fingertips forward, maybe even off the mat. And then left leg, left glute engaged. Left glute is what drives that left leg to extend back behind you. And then maybe even the right arm lifts up, raises up, right thumb up towards the sky. Belly up, up, up for another 5. For 4. Strong and steady 3. Last 2. On 1, elbow to knee. Very nice. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. That's 2. We're going for 5. Out. And in. 3. Extension. And flexion. 4. Last one. Bring it on in. Curl it in. Extend it out, and then option to bend that left knee. Right arm reaches back. Where's that foot? Squeezing the glutes. For 3. For 2. And 1. Very nice. Allow yourself to find child's pose. This time maybe even allowing the head to connect to the earth and having the arms reach back towards the toes if that feels good for you. Allowing the shoulders to sink down, to melt down off your arm sockets. Feel your heart, hear your heart, follow your heart. Three more breaths. And walk the hands forward, setting yourself up. Downward facing dog. Tucking the back toes, lifting the knees off the mat, alternating heels, left, right, left, right. Maybe finding a little wag of the tail, side to side. And raise up on the tippy toes. Allow both heels to drop over towards the left side. Finding a big stretch in the right side body. Taking a bend in the knees and maybe walking the right fingertips out, out, out. And back under the balls of the feet, raising up, allow the heels to drop over towards the right this time, finding a bend in the knees, maybe walking the left fingertips towards that left top corner of the mat. Finding this long line of stretch from the pinky finger all the way up the whole arm and the left side body. Back to center, and then slowly tiptoe your way to the front of the mat.
Allow either hand to grab opposite elbow. Maybe a deep bend in the knees. Ragdolling left and right. Shaking the head up and down. Then release the arms. Slowly keeping the chin to the chest. We've been upside down a while here. Slowly start unfurling, uncurling, rolling yourself back up. Tadasana, mountain pose. Allow the shoulders to drop down away from the ears. Palms are forward. Slight tuck of the tail. Steady breath. Begin to lean forward, finding that sense of where you can be before you think you're about to fall. And then back until you think you're about to fall. And then forward and play around with your stability and your sense of balance, forward and back. And then even onto the left side, and then rocking over to the right side, playing on the edges of the feet. Until you can finally come to your center. Big inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, fold forward. And in this forward fold, if you have 2 blocks, you might be able to have the space to once again connect your crown with a little bend in the knees to the blocks to find a little extra activation, which might feel good. Help open this portal if it's clogged. And just kind of stimulating the benefits of an inversion or a headstand without actually having your feet dangling up above you. Seeing if you can still breathe here. Then slowly releasing the blocks. Hands come down to the mat. Step your left foot back. Drop the left knee. Arms reach up towards the sky. Low lunge. You can stay in the low lunge, or on the next exhale, lifting the back knee. Coming on up. Allow the hands to clasp your elbows. And then find a little side bend over to the right side. Really driving that left elbow over and still flirting with balance. You can always take the stance a little bit wider. And then back to center. Shifting the weight onto the front foot. You can have your hands on your thigh, maybe stepping forward into, oh my gosh, warrior 3. You can keep the knee bent for a crouching warrior. You can use 2 blocks to help find that balance and stability. Or you can just play with shifting the weight forward and then maybe just driving that left knee in. Otherwise, meet me in your warrior 3 for another 3, another 2. On 1, bending into the front leg, setting ourselves up for warrior 2. Find the mat. Keeping that L shape. Arms reach out to the side. 1 forward, 1 back. Allow the shoulders to drop down. And then straighten the front leg, find a little relaxation and flow, taking out that pressure of keeping the leg bent. And side angle, bending into the front leg. Left arm reaches up and over. Reverse triangle.
And side angle. One more set. Reversing. And exhale, side angle. Coming back to warrior two. I'm going to switch sides here. We're going to take our left toes and turn them so the hips are now the feet are now parallel. And this is another one where having the blocks in front of you might be helpful, or one block. Big inhale, arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Again, in this forward fold, maybe you find that you have a little bit extra space now, that you only need one block to allow your head to make contact with it. Again, getting into this crown chakra. Head into the block, block into the mat, mat into the earth. Maybe bending in the knees. And then coming up, allowing the left hand to plant on the block or the ground. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. Exhale, back down. Tag team. Right hand plants, left arm lifts. And switch. Left down, right up. And right down, left up. One more. As we come down, the right arm reaches up, up, up. Coming down, left arm up, up, up. And back to center. And then turning both feet now, pivoting both feet to face towards the front of the mat, coming into crescent lunge. Arms reach up towards the sky. And then walking forward. Back to Tadasana. Very nice. Find your breath. Just dancing around the mat here. Arms reach up towards the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, melt it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, plant the hands. This time, right foot steps back. Drop the right knee. Arms reach up towards the sky, low lunge. Stay here for a moment, allowing this arch of the back to kind of come to a straight by tucking the tail. Moving the tail forward, we find a straight line in the back. And then powering up, finding that exhale to lift the right knee. Very nice. Clasping elbows, maybe opposite elbow this time. And then leaning out, up and over towards the left side. If this isn't comfortable, you can always drop that left arm and just kind of reach over with the right. But I find having that extra leverage of having them anchored helps me find this kind of push-pull action. And then back to center. You know what's coming, warrior three. So maybe the hands come to the left thigh and use that to help you come forward. Maybe the right knee just comes in and back, and you flirt with just having stability on one leg, or you sail, you fly into your warrior three. Wherever you're at's right for you. Wherever your arms are at is just fine. Maybe they're forward. Maybe they're cactus. Or reaching back for another 3, 2, on 1, bending into that front leg with control, stepping back into our warrior 2. Allow the shoulders to relax. Relax the shoulders. Smile on the face, gazing out over the front. finger, nail, maybe seeing if they need a trim. And straightening that front leg. Reverse your triangle. Right arm slides back, left arm up and over. Next exhale, side angle, left forearm to thigh, right arm over. 3 sets like this, following your breath, your fluidity, your grace, your power, your strength. Last set, reversing into the side angle. Back to warrior 2. Hands come onto the hips, this time turning the left toes. And so once again, we are in our wide-legged stance, clasping the hands behind us, drawing the shoulders down and away first, and then forward folding, allowing the hands to follow, finding this opening in the shoulders. And breathing into it, taking a bend in the knees if that feels right. Maybe even swaying slightly. Following the breath in, any sensations you feel, and once again, another inversion. Allow the arms to come back behind you, bending into the knees, chin comes to the chest. Slowly begin to roll yourself back up. Turning towards the front of the mat, finding ourselves into that crescent lunge. Maybe arms up to the sky, perhaps on the hips. And then maybe stepping in one step or a couple steps, right foot comes to meet the left. Very nice. Taking the feet out wide, maybe so wide that the toes are just barely off the mat, into active squat. So sitting the hips back, back, back. Arms come forward, bending into the knees. The arms can be resting on, like, put me in coach, you know, if that feels good for you, but maybe having them extended out in front. And just breathing into it, feeling this inner engagement, feeling the inner thighs squeezing, the outer glutes squeezing, allowing the shoulders relax, a little bit deeper. Breathe into it. You're strong, you're steady. For 5. Breathe it out, 4. Feel the heat, 3. Last 2, and 1. Straighten the legs, arms come to the heart, then up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Noticing we're a little bit wider this time. Take a bend into the left knee, right hand plants on the ground or a block, right arm reaching up towards the sky. And back down. Tag team, bending into the right knee, left arm reaches up towards the sky, right hand's planted. And switch, finding a little bend, little dance. Switch. 1 more on each side. Left hand comes down, right arm up. And then right arm down, left arm up. Back to center. Shimmy out the hips a little bit. And then coming back up, active squat. Finding a bend in the knees. Hips sit back, 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 back. Belly drawing in. Hips are back. Just another 5. You're strong. 4. Last 3, last 2, last 1. Bring it on in. Up towards the sky. And forward fold.
Plant the hands, lift halfway, hands to the shins. Exhale, step the right foot back. And then set yourself up for pigeon pose. So here, maybe you're able to walk your left foot, your front foot, over to the outer edge of the mat, dropping the knee down. Otherwise, get into your pigeon pose, whichever way feels right for you. So maybe that way works, or maybe it feels better to go to downward dog first, and then left knee to left wrist, and then walk the foot back wherever you're at. It's exactly where you need to be. And I invite you to stay upright for a little bit before we really sink down into it, because there is a lot different sensation that you can get by staying upright, maybe even having the blocks and pushing into the blocks, and really think about lifting that left hip up and back. Pressing into the top shin to lift up, release, up, release. You can stay here. If you want to get a little wild, you can also bend that back knee or the back leg, kicking it up. Maybe you're just squeezing heel towards your head. Maybe you can reach back. I have to keep throwing these things out there. You're like, yes, you do. Yep. It's an option. Allowing it to come back down. Or if you want to keep holding it, this is your practice. Otherwise, permission to surrender into the pose. Coming to the forearms, maybe onto a blanket. And just allowing the body to soften. Soften, soften, soften. And if you feel like you're at your breaking point right now, back off a little bit. Long breaths. And then send it. Each inhale in, send it to your area of most resistance with the little message, soften. It's okay. You can relax now. Perhaps a blanket underneath that left hip or the block could help as well. And this is your time. Time to release, to let go. See if your face can soften as well. For another 8, for 7, and 6. Keep breathing. 5. Last 4, and 3, 2. Last 1. Very nice. Slowly allow yourself to come back up. Tuck the back toes. Lift your hips up. Give yourself some space. Allow that left leg to stretch back. Downward facing dog. Pedaling it out. Maybe already noticing a difference in one hip versus the other. And then walk your way forward to the front of the mat. Take a moment to ragdoll here. Then maybe even clasping your hands around your calves. And then drawing your head down. So finding this bend in the elbow to help create some extra stability, or kind of this anchoring and leverage. And then shifting your weight forward, so off the heels. And see how that may affect where you feel the stretch. Maybe it enhances it. And then bend in the knees. Slowly roll yourself up. Allow the blend to equalize across your body in your Tadasana. 2 breaths. And arms reach up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back down, planting the hands this time. Left leg steps back. Walking the left foot over to the opposite edge of your mat or down. Or, if you wish, going from downward dog into your pigeon pose. And again, I encourage you to stay upright to begin, really feeling into it. Maybe having that block under the glute to help keep this squareness of the hips. And then option to find a little strengthening and lifting sensation by having our pressure really go into lifting ourselves up a little bit with our hands, and also by pressing our shin and the edge of our foot into the mat, right? So we're able to push off that front leg to lift the hips just maybe an inch, maybe half an inch, maybe not at all, and then back down, and then press and lift. And back down. About 2 more. And then if you're feeling like a mermaid, mermaid pose is where you bend that back leg. Well, that's the kind of the start of mermaid pose. And then you can just work on like flexing the foot and squeezing, having the heel drive towards your body. Maybe pointing it, arm reaching back. You can get super wild by like having the foot go into the elbow crease, and then this arm can come up and over, and like this is the mermaid pose. But it's all what you feel called to do right now, and I don't really feel called to do that either. One thing that can help too is, rather than passively holding it, if you are, you can also kick into your hand and see how that also increases the engagement. Or in future workouts, you can also have a strap behind you and kick into the strap. And release if you feel called to. And everyone, let it go. Let everything soften. Come on down. Again, maybe having the blanket, even on blocks, the forearms. And just settle into this space, into this place, into your body in this position for a couple minutes here. Again, give yourself permission to soften any areas of tension, and knowing when to back off and when you're being aggressive. We're going for sensation, but not pain.
Elongate your exhales. Stay with it for another 8, for 7, for 6, breathing 5, softening 4, letting go 3, last 1. Slowly work your way back up and out of it. Tucking the back toes, pressing into the mat, raise the hips up, creating some space to maybe allow that right foot to step back. Downward facing dog. Wagging the hips left and right, pedaling the feet, maybe bending in the knees, deeply bending. And then coming to your knees, skirting the feet out to the side, sitting the hips back onto the earth, extending the feet out in front of you, coming onto your back. Big stretch. Feel this length. Maybe it feels good to even have the block underneath the sacrum to get a little bit extra length in the hip flexors after so much time, allowing them to soften. Big stretch, big counter stretch. Just 2 more breaths here. And then remove the block. Bend the knees and roll on over to your right side. Allow the right arm to come out to a T and the left arm to come on top of it. Walk the left fingertips out just beyond the right, and then start to circle them up above your head and around. You might find some sticky points as it keeps creating this huge circle, coming all the way towards our left hip, and then back to the right hand. 2 more just like that, walking the fingertips forward, then up and around, and really taking your time to feel each and every little articulation within the socket of your shoulder. And then after you finish that last one, go ahead and allow your left arm to come all the way out towards your left side for the twist. So kind of creating this half circle or semi-sphere, a rainbow if you will, until you're open. 3 more breaths. And then left hand back to the right. And this time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to bend at the right elbow so the fingertips come up towards the sky. We're going to make a fist and turn it so the back of our hand faces the back wall. And so your fingers are pointing towards the bottom of your mat. And then look at your alignment of your shoulder to your elbow. Have them so they're in the same line. And then allow this articulation of the back of the fist to go towards the earth. And then you can put your left hand on your wrist, stabilizing it. And then using your hand, you're pressing up into your right wrist pressed up into your left hand. So finding this engagement, kind of like an arm wrestling match. And then flip it so your hand comes on top of the wrist, and then the arm pivots so your your fingers go towards the ground. So it's that point where you're just about to win the arm wrestling match. And it shouldn't take very much pressure to feel some opening. Again, we're going to go back, so back of the hand towards the ground, hand clasps it, and we are going to push our hand into our hand, push our right wrist into our left hand, and the left hand's pressing into the right wrist. So kind of this just counter push-pull, keeping it from actually moving, but still having this strength and engagement. For another 3, 2, 1, and then switching, allowing it to come forward, winning this arm wrestling match. Left hand, putting just enough pressure on it to find your little edge here. Last 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. We're going to switch sides. So roll onto your back and then over to your left side. This time, taking the left arm out, shoulder and elbow in line with the wrist. Right hand comes on top of the left. Walk the fingertips out and then circling up above and around, and again taking your time, noticing any sticky parts, lingering if you want to. And comes all the way around across your right hip, and then back to meet your left hand. Again, 2 more, just mindful. Maybe even close your eyes to create this big sphere, this big circle. Even feeling that extension perhaps in the right side neck. And after that 3rd rotation, take your semi-sphere up and twist open towards the right. allowing the right shoulder to soften. Another 3. Last 2. On 1, coming back. Right hand on top of left. And then again, making that fist, having the elbow in line with the shoulder first, and then allowing the back of the hand to go towards the ground without hiking the elbow up. Allowing the right hand to clasp the left wrist, and then pressing it down, but also resisting with that left hand. So really finding the strengthening and engagement. Push and resist, push and resist. For 3, for 2. On 1, flip your hand so it's on the back. Your right hand's on the back of the left wrist. And then arm wrestle winner, right? Fist drives down towards the ground, coming towards your knees. And just light pressure of that right hand. For 3, 2, 1. One more time each direction, so going back. Again, this is our strengthening and engagement. Pressing it down, back of the fist, going towards the ground, but not allowing it to actually touch. Resisting, resisting. Finding that edge for 3, 2, 1. Bring it on back. Flipping the grip. Gently pressing on top of the right wrist. The left wrist, pardon me. And then release. And you can stay inside Shavasana if you wish for your final pose, allowing the head to cradle into the nook of your arm. Maybe having a blanket come in between the knees. Or if you wish, you can take a more traditional version where you lay on the back, extend the legs out to the bottom of your mat, arms open up towards the sky. Wherever you're at, just find a softening in a place of comfort, calm, and connection, where you can follow the breath. Let it fuel your body. And let it help bring you to that space of peace. That space to let everything that you've done this past hour sink into your body, to help it restore, to repair, and to be the best version of you that you can. Deepen the breath. If you were in a traditional shavasana, return back to the side. For just a moment or two to help you transition back to being present and where you are right here, right now, in this building, in this space, wherever you're practicing right now. And when you're ready, slowly press your way back up to a seated position. Allow everything to settle. And then please join me in 3 closing, cleansing breaths. Big inhale, arms reach out and up. Audible exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. I want to thank you all for joining me on today's yoga journey, and I look forward to practicing with you again. Namaste.